Hello, everyone, and welcome to Above the Noyze. I am your host, Big Jeff Noyze, aka the American Kaiju, aka the Mountain of Professional Wrestling. This is my first podcast alone. Some of you may know that I've had a few podcasts in the back, in the past. I've done Sunset Flip Radio, a couple other ones, but this is my personal podcast. Very excited about this. We're going to do weekly episodes, um, a whole lot of stuff. This is basically my introduction episode. So with this, we're going to be doing a lot of different stuff. It's not, I know I introduced myself as a wrestler. For those that don't know, yes, I am a professional wrestler. I've been an independent wrestler for 15 years. We'll get into that in a sec. But we're going to talk about on this podcast, again, we're called Above the Noyze. We do wrestling. We're going to do pop culture stuff, like talk about the new Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies, and so on and so forth. And I am a very big card collector and sports fan, so we may dabble a little bit in talking about sports. Definitely we'll talk about the card market. Another thing too is I am a business owner. I own the company called Noyze Toyz. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, eBay, YouTube, TikTok, Shortbox, whatnot, ProWrestlingTees.com, and at several different conventions like Terrificon, Terrificon's at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Terrificon is one of my absolute favorite shows we do. RetroCon, that's in Oaks, PA. We do that show every year. This should be our 12th year doing that. It's a toy show with Farpoint. We do that show as well. But you can pretty much find me everywhere, man. We do a lot of stuff. Oh, ZoloCon is another show that we do as well. But I'm going to try to do this podcast also as video and audio. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to see what's going on. Where at the end of each episode, which is going to be really fun, I'm going to start doing some openings, where with that, I'm going to crack open toys. We're going to do like pack breaks, anything like that. Just a quick little thing at the end, which would be really fun. But let me give you a little introduction of who I am, what I do, and all that kind of stuff. Again, my name is the American Kaiju, Big Jeff Noyze. That's, Noyze. That's the name. But I've been a wrestler for 15 years, like I said, Monster Factory trained. My trainer down there was Danny Cage, who everybody knows is the owner of the Monster Factory. Larry Sharp was there when I first started out. So, Larry was a great guy. There was also Pitbull, Gary Wolf, and the Blue Meanie were my trainers as well. I loved my time down there. It was awesome. I was actually in the same class with Steve Cutler, or aka Steve Macklin. He's had a couple different gimmicks. Damian Priest also was in the same class as me as well, which is super cool. Trained down there too with Joey Janela. Did a lot with us. Kyle the Beast. QT Marshall, one of my good brothers. He was down there too with us. It was really fun. But, also with that, I was mentored by Balls Mahoney. He was a very, very good friend of mine for a long time. Rest in peace, Balls. You were the man. Love you dearly. Think about you every day. But, let's see. In my 15 years of wrestling, we're going to do like a whole episode about that. I'm just kind of giving you a little breakdown. I've wrestled currently with Titan Championship Wrestling and also GTS Wrestling on YouTube, which go check that out. Super fun, but also Titan. We are a little bit everywhere. We've wrestled in North Carolina, all over Jersey. We are currently about to go to Arkansas, some more North Carolina stuff, Florida, you name it, we're going. So Titan is an excellent, excellent company. I highly recommend you guys checking us out. But we are also on IWTV, the Internet Wrestling place you can stream us. So that's really cool and fun way to check out our matches. We got one this Saturday at Tom's River, one of the churches over here. If you need the information, hit me up and I'll let you know. But that's going to be a super fun event this Saturday. We'll talk about it more next week. But some of the guys I've wrestled to, I wrestled like Kevin Nash, Balls Mahoney, Tom Brandy, Jimmy Snuka, Rikishi, all those kind of guys. So I've been on the road a long time wrestling. I love it dearly. But also with that, I love my company, Noyze Toyz. We've been doing this for just about the same amount of time. So you can see in the background, I got a lot of really cool, toys. Between I'm a big Punisher guy, so you'll see a lot of Punisher stuff. Fantastic Four is my absolute favorite all time. Fantastic Four, I love it so much. I even named my son Reed. Again, I'm a dad, so love my son very dearly. Reed, you the man. Married, love my wife Marissa. That's just a little bit about me. My business is super fun. But with that being said, on this podcast, you can let me know down below too some of the stuff that you do want to hear from me. So if you want to hear like tales from the road, tales from the shows, I'm also very big on Whatnot streaming. I used to be doing Whatnot a lot. Like I was one of the heavy hitters in the toy market, and then when I had my son, it was really difficult for me to get back into it. So I took some time off, but now starting actually tomorrow, or whenever this is gonna air and be seen by you on was it May 16th will be my first Whatnot back in a very long time, which I'm very excited for that. But usually we call that event Figgy Friday. It's gonna be Friday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do all kinds of different stuff with that. You know, we I like to do specialized shows where I'll do like one show of wrestling stuff, one show of Marvel stuff, one show of Ninja Turtles. All those kind of gimmicks are going to be there. It's super fun. I really love doing that. I have a very good following. I have a lot of good friends that I like to just kind of BS with when I'm doing my whatnots. So that's always really fun. Um, so we got that. And yeah, man. So that is where we're at. That's a little bit of my introduction about myself for those of you that don't know. But, thank you again for checking us out. Please make sure to subscribe to us and, keep up with us because we're also going to start bringing in guests. I want to get a couple episodes in before I start doing guests. But in the past, when I had my other podcast, Sunset Flip Radio, we had on there, who do we have? Tito Santana, we had during WrestleMania weekend once. We brought Tom Brandy on. What was his name? I don't know. We had a lot of people on it. It was really like a lot of fun. But I kind of want to do that with my pop culture stuff because I am so very big into comic books and I love Star Wars, as you can see if you're watching it. I got a C3 a punk rock C3PO tattooed on me, all those kind of goodies. So I want to dabble in everything because I get kind of bored listening to podcasts where it's just like one thing and just one note. So I kind of want to treat this channel as like a little bit of everything. I want to have a show for everybody to enjoy, for you to tell your friends to go and check out and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to do too much today. I just want to, let you guys know what we're going to be doing moving forward. But I'm very excited about this. I definitely talk a lot. So I figured, why the hell not? Let's do a podcast. Have fun with it. I think this is going to be a really enjoyable experience. I hope you guys do as well. But make sure to follow me on all my social medias and everything. Like I said before, I'll do that shtick at the end. But something I want to talk about on this episode. It's kind of a bummer that we're going to start off with like a little somber of an episode. But I do want to pay tribute to the man himself, one of my favorites all time, Sabu. Rest easy, brother. I love you dearly. I was always a huge fan of Sabu. Here's his Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces, Series 1, Sabu figure. Absolutely love this piece. But I've always been a huge fan of his. When I first started getting into wrestling, ECW was always my favorite type of wrestling. Like I loved WWF at the time. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mankind, Rock, Triple H, all those guys were great. But nothing to me compared to ECW. I'm lucky enough. So I live in New Jersey. I've been lucky enough to go to several live ECW events during their actual run. Not that '05 crap that you want to talk about, but the actual run of ECW. I've been to several matches. The very first match I ever went to live, my brother Mike took me to go see ECW at Bar Anticipation, Bar A in Belmar, New Jersey. Now, it wasn't a televised event, but it was absolutely tremendous. There was a flaming table match with the Dudley Boys against Balls Mahoney and Spike. There was Taz versus Lil Guido, which was super fun. But Sabu wrestled on that event too. I'll never forget seeing that man just like run through the curtain, kick some ass, do his thing, go and leave. He was absolutely insane. Just looking at that man, you knew he was the perfect embodiment of what professional wrestling is and was. Just seeing that dude come out, his body completely scarred, his face he just looked like a nasty son of a bitch. His pants always look super comfortable though. But I I just loved Sabu so much. He was just one of the absolute coolest wrestlers that I have ever seen. And then I actually had an opportunity to my brother again, Mike, took me to a independent wrestling show. At that show, Sabu was there, and he wrestled Chris Candido, another wrestler who's gone way too soon. Love you, Chris. You were awesome. Another Jersey legend. Um, so seeing Sabu against Candido on like that thing was like super cool. But my brother actually paid the $20 or whatever the hell it was to go and meet Sabu. So we got an 8x10 signed by him. Me and my brother taking a picture with him. And it was hilarious because Sabu's sitting there, you know, he's like doing his pose and everything, and just hear him go, take the fucking picture. And we're like, whoa, all right. So the guy's getting all pissed, but it was, you know, funny to me. Lo and behold, the next day, me and my brother were literally the sickest that we have ever been. Absolutely worst. Like, I don't know what the hell it was, but we called it the Sabu flu. And still to this day, I have never been sicker in my entire life. We were on a couch for like a week, just dying. But maybe that's why Sabu was pissed off and wanted to, you know, hurry it up a little bit. He probably wasn't feeling well himself. But you know, just like a funny memory that I had with that. And also I've seen him on like a couple other like independent and also um ECW events. When I was at the Monster Factory, he actually came in and did a seminar with us, which was super cool. You know, the guy really changed the business when you see what he accomplished and what he's done. So many people tried to like steal his style. So it was really impressive to see Sabu do his thing live out there. You know, there's the barbed wire, the fire, and all that kind of stuff. But on top of it, his athletic ability, doing the flips, doing, you know, the Arabian facebuster off the top rope, you know, doing the flip onto the chair and all that kind of stuff. The way that he throws the chair at people, I always loved that. But he wasn't just a hardcore wrestler, which that's why everybody remembers him as a hardcore wrestler. The dude could shoot also. You know, the guy could shoot. Also, for a little bit of people, if you don't know, I'm a also pretty accomplished amateur wrestler as well. I loved amateur wrestling. I was a huge fan of it. I did it all through high school. Um, but also I used to coach it when I was at Brick Township High School. You know, I used to coach wrestling there. We placed in states. We had state qualifiers and everything. So that was awesome. I loved it dearly. It was such a, you know, such an amazing sport. But anyway, you know, so Sabu was able to wrestle and do the hardcore stuff and high fly. He was a total package for pro wrestling. And even when you think about when he came back to the mainstream, when they brought him in for the one night stand, he wrestles Rey Mysterio and everything. They put on an absolute banger of a match. And seeing him with those type of wrestlers like John Cena, seeing Sabu and John Cena in the same arena was absolutely mind-boggling. But it's funny to hear, like, I heard an interview with Sabu pretty recently where he was talking about the spot where he jumps on the top rope and then he does the leg press onto Cena on the outside of the ring over the announce table. Man, that was freaking cool. But he's talking, he was like, he didn't plan on doing that. He planned on doing a triple jump moonsault or the triple jump leg drop. He wanted to go bounce and then hit the leg drop, but he wasn't really positioned properly because Paul Heyman put the chair out. So he's standing there, but he's like holding himself up. He's shitting his pants. He's saying like on the top rope. It was so crazy, but you see it And you'd never know that he wasn't supposed to do that because he just made it look smooth as hell. It was actually more impressive to see him stand on that top rope, then jump off. It was absolutely wild. But again, you know, the memories of Sabu, we all have so many of them. I am a huge, huge mark for ECW, but my favorite, trying to think of like my favorite match from Sabu, I really have two that always come to mind for me. Number one was Born to Be Wired with Terry Funk, which was absolutely the most insane match I've ever seen in my life. I never watched Japanese wrestling prior to that. I never watched barbed wire matches prior to that. But seeing Terry Funk, who was 50 something years old, going against Sabu, who was in his prime, they absolutely murdered it in that match. It's my favorite hardcore match of all time. I go back and watch it very often. Well, my other favorite match with that also comes down to Living Dangerously 1999 Asbury Park, New Jersey. Sabu against Taz for the heavyweight title. Taz just won the belt from Shane Douglas at the previous pay-per-view. And his first opponent to defend the belt on pay-per-view was Sabu. You could not write it any better than that. You could not have booked a better match than that. They absolutely killed it because Taz broke Sabu's jaw previously, like very shortly before, with that Angry Man clothesline that he always used to do. I do a lariat too. I love my lariat, but I do it because of Taz, JBL, and Stan Hansen. Those guys I thought had the best clotheslines in the biz. But anyway, you know, so Taz has his jaw taped up. No, I'm sorry. Sabu has his jaw taped up and he puts FU on it, which was awesome because it was a unification match for the ECW belt and the FTW belt. Which I bought one from Bill Alfonso. Fonzie, I love you, brother. You the man, daddy. You the man, daddy. But yeah, so you see, whoops, sorry. Just making sure everything was good. Yeah, no, so Taz also had a torn bicep, which was crazy. So, you know, Taz has a torn bicep. Sabu has a broken jaw. And goddamn, they just put on an absolute banger clinic of a match between the amateur wrestling, the shoot wrestling, the suplexes, the table spots, the chair shots, all this kind of stuff. It was absolutely phenomenal. And that was the first ECW pay-per-view that I personally bought and watched live. It was so damn good. That pay-per-view is my favorite pay-per-view of all time. I'm going to do a rundown on that on another show. But man, that was just an absolute banger of a show. I'll never forget that, man. But I just wanted to do a little tribute for Sabu. There's a lot of stuff coming out right now. I mentioned Joey Janela, and Joey was his first. No, I'm sorry. Joey was Sabu's last match. It was a match. You know, I don't want to get too into it yet because I want more information to come out because there's been a lot of crap going around and I don't want to spread any bullshit lies. That's not what we're doing here. But, you know, kudos to Joey for having that match against Sabu. That's a huge opportunity for him and like super cool. I know he's wrestled like everybody. It's hardcore, but Joey, again, that's a dude that I've wrestled with for shit. Like my whole, like 15 years I've known Joey. You know, he's a good guy. I hope, you know, I really want to get more information before I really start digging into what happened with Sabu. But, you know, rest in peace, brother. You're very much loved and everybody in the hardcore wrestling field and all that kind of stuff. And in wrestling in general, you're a legend. Hopefully WWE put it in Hall of Fame because damn it, you deserve it. But, yeah, thank you for that. And again, I just wanted to bring back up Titan Championship Wrestling this Saturday. Big Jeff Noyze is going to be there. I'm making an appearance. I don't have a match this week, but I am the mountaintop of professional wrestling. I'm the heavyweight champion, the Funhouse heavyweight champion. For those that don't know, also with Titan, we have a sister company, which is Funhouse. We run shows together, we run shows separately, we run shows, or we do matches on other shows as well. I'll defend my belt anywhere. If somebody wants to hit me up, let me know and I'll defend them. I'll take out whatever kind of meat you got in front of me. But we I take pride in being the champion. I won the belt in January. I defeated Shane Douglas to become champion. That was awesome. Great experience, because again, you can tell I love my ECW. Shane was one of my all-time favorites as well. And I just defended my strap against Ben Castle last month. That was really cool. Ben's a great worker. And it was unfortunate to him that he had to get the wrath of the American Kaiju, but whatever. Um, so check out Titan Championship Wrestling also on all our social media accounts. But again, this was just a short episode. We're going to run all of our episodes the same way, where it's going to be like Monday Night Raw now, where you're going to have maybe a half an hour, 20-minute episode. We could have an hour. We could have a 2-hour show. Who the hell knows? We're just out here having fun, all this kind of shenanigans. But this is the pilot episode of Above the Noyze. We're going to do a lot of other things. We're going to have a rating scale of like my noise level on things that I like. So we're going to talk about that on certain things. And yeah. So if you guys have any comments down below, let me know what you guys think. But like I said, we're going to crack into stuff. It might suck if you're just listening, so make sure to check out the video as well when I get it up. But we're going to open up the heels and faces Public Enemy, since we're talking about ECW so much. Here we go. This is a phenomenal figure. It's a 2-pack. You got Flyboy Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge. Zombie Sailor Toys, done by Ron Rudat, also the original guy that did the Hasbro figures, which is super cool. But Josh at Zombie Sailor, he's a good brother of mine. I've known him forever. Once I started doing toys, Josh was one of the first people that I kind of like became friendly with, and we made deals back and forth, made a lot of trades and all that kind of stuff. He's an amazing guy. He puts out the best product on the market for any kind of action figure. Josh is absolutely killing him there. Please go and check out his stuff. Zombie Sailor Toys. Heels and Faces line is my personal favorite. But he's also put out Bloodsport. So you get your Jean-Claude Van Damme and all that kind of stuff, which is super cool. I got a feeling he's going to drop some other stuff. And he just put out, last week, it broke ProWrestlingTees.com, the first Owen Hart black and pink figure since 1999, I believe it was 98 or 99. I am beyond stoked for that. I bought a couple of them myself. I'm incredibly stoked for that. All the detail on these are great, but let's crack open this bad boy right here. Ooh, the ASMR, baby. All right, here we go. We got Johnny Grunge. Got to get that little fig sniff. Oh man, the detail on this is wild. I love the jerseys. The jersey on it is super cool. It says Public Enemy on the front and those shorts. The hair is awesome. Shit, I could just make this a custom of me. It pretty much looks like me. That is a great figure, the Johnny Grunge. And Flyboy Rocco Rock. Again, you got to get that fig sniff. But this is also a tremendous figure. I love the detail and the hair. You could see like the dreads on them. Super cool. The wrist tape, the articulation in the hands and the shoulders. They're not very articulated, but neither were Hasbro's. They weren't supposed to be. But that's like the cool things about these retro figures that everyone's been putting out recently. There's a lot of companies out there doing it. Mitch is a good brother of mine too, over at Grapplers and Gimmicks. He does amazing work too. I can't wait. He's putting the Tom Brandy one out. Salvatore Sincere. That's going to be a really fun piece. He's done some really cool Jake the Snake, British Bulldog, and all that stuff. Epic Toys does them. There's also, obviously Mattel does them too. So they coincide with that. They suck. Honestly, the Mattel ones are not that cool. They're great because, yeah, it's licensed and all that stuff, but it's not really like, they look worse than Hasbro's did. they're not as nostalgic as them for me. Some people with the heels and faces, they say that these are overly detailed and they don't like them because of that. I think that's crap. With the super detailed figures, I absolutely love them. It doesn't bother me at all that they're not exactly Hasbro-esque because of the detail on them, but I like them so much better because if you have the technology, you have the ability, just go out there and do it. And that's what Josh is doing. So thank you, brother. But yeah, you can't go wrong. The first freaking Public Enemy figures. That's unbelievable. But yeah, man, way to go. Hell of a job. Noise level, noise level. I gotta give that. So, as a comic enthusiast, I'm gonna do my noise level like those, like the numbers that coincide with grading. So you get your 10 is insane. You're probably not going to see him. The 9-9, same thing. You're not going to see him. 9-8s are more than likely the tippy tops. You know, the 9-6, 9-4s, 9-2s, 9-0s. Then you get to the 8-5s, and then it goes to like, you know, the point system down there. These figures here with a detail. Now, mind you, not a huge Public Enemy fan. Even though I love DCW, I didn't like these guys. Dudley Boys are my favorite tag team of all time in wrestling ever. LOD, I'm sorry, you don't hold a candle to the Dudley Boys. But without the LOD, I know there is no Dudley Boys. But, you know, I respect you guys. You're number 2. Dudley's the number 1. Public Enemy, you came into WWE, you got your asses handed to you by Farouk and Bradshaw because he had an attitude. You know, it is what it is. But let's look at figures alone. I think these are absolutely phenomenal figures. I like the details on them. They look just like them. The jerseys are absolutely insane. I got to give these a 9-0. I'm giving these a 9-0. It could be better, but not by too much. It's just the jerseys on them are what really sets it off. I kind of would. I know a lot of people hate this. I would have liked soft goods. I think soft good jerseys would have been super cool on us. But the way that they are is just absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna stick with a 9-0 on the Noyze level. But yeah, those figures are absolutely fantastic. That's gonna be all for the episode today, though. Just like I said, this was just my introduction. I wanted to give you guys a little background on who I am. If you haven't followed me, which you really should, I do a lot of really fun stuff on my social media accounts. You know, and I'm wrestling everywhere. And also on top of it, I am an actor. I didn't even bring that up. Holy crap. I've been doing a lot of movies. I've done a lot of the vertical dramas, but on top of it too, I can announce a couple of them. I did Poker Face, which is out now on Peacock, with starring Natasha Lyonne. Please make sure to go check that out. I don't know what episode I'm in yet, but 3 episodes have dropped so far. Go and check it out. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal show. Natasha absolutely crushed it, and everybody else involved too. So make sure to go check that show out on Peacock. And also, I was in Happy Gilmore. I can announce that. Happy Gilmore 2, sorry. I did have I did some work on that, which I'm very excited about. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch too. That comes out in July, but we'll get to that later. A few other movies I've done too, but I'm not allowed to drop any names yet. But that's something we will also be talking about is acting. But this is a little bit of what I do. But please make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, eBay, YouTube, TikTok, Shortbox, whatnot. And now follow Above the Noyze, the podcast, because I am a little bit of everywhere, baby. Thank you all so much for checking us out. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, peace.